I looked in the mirror and felt like a stranger was staring back. Not a monster, not a ghost, just someone unfamiliar. Someone who wears your face, lives your life, and plays your role perfectly. But deep down, you know something's off. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You agree with opinions you don't believe in. You go to places you don't want to be, just to keep the peace. And eventually, you forget who you used to be. Or maybe you never really knew. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision just for you? Not because it was smart, not because it was safe, but because it felt right. The world doesn't want you to find yourself. It wants you to play your part, fit in, conform, be normal. And the scariest part? Most people will live their entire lives as actors in a script they didn't write. You see, identity isn't something you're born with. It's something you either build or have built for you. And if you don't consciously choose who you are, the world will do it for you. Now, before we go deeper into this descent into selfhood, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button. Because on this channel, we don't do surface-level motivation or cliché life tips. We go where most people are afraid to look, inside, where the real transformation begins. You're still here, right? Good, because now I want to take you back to a time when everything was still calm, before the shift, before the illusion cracked. There was one moment that changed everything, and trust me, it wasn't loud. It was subtle, like the way the sky darkens before a storm, and once you see it, you can never go back. It started on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic, no lightning in the sky, no earth-shattering event. Just a simple question. From a stranger I barely knew. He looked me dead in the eyes and asked, "Do you actually like the life you're living, or are you just used to it?" I laughed it off. Awkward smile, casual shrug. You know, the usual social armor. But something about that question stayed. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of fear, but because I had no answer. Not a real one. I started thinking how many of my decisions were really mine, my job, my friends, the way I dress, speak, walk into a room. Was any of it chosen consciously? Or was I just following a script handed down by parents, teachers, algorithms? Here's the thing. The scariest prison is the one you don't even realize you're in. Most people don't wake up because they don't even know they're asleep. We scroll, we hustle, we please. And somewhere along the way, we lose touch with our inner compass. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Once you start questioning reality, reality starts to question you back. My relationships changed. Conversations felt hollow. People I'd known for years started saying things like, "You've changed." And they were right. I had started peeling away the layers. And what I found underneath wasn't just raw, it was powerful. But the journey inwards, it's not peaceful, it's war. You start seeing the masks people wear, and the ones you've worn too. You realize how much of your personality was built around avoiding rejection, avoiding abandonment, avoiding truth. And here's the kicker. The closer you get to who you really are, the more resistance you face. Friends pull away, family doesn't get it. You'll ask yourself 1,000 times, is it worth it? But what's the alternative? Live a life that never felt like yours. The pain of truth is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. By now I had broken through the surface. But let me tell you this. The hardest part wasn't realizing who I truly was. It was accepting it. You see, when you start waking up to yourself, you realize that the person you've become might not be who you want to be. And that's terrifying. I remember sitting in my apartment, looking at the empty space around me. A space that had once felt comfortable, familiar, safe. Now, it felt like a cage. A reminder of everything I had built to avoid discomfort. The real breakthrough came when I realized something. You can't control the world, but you can control how you show up in it. Suddenly it was all clear. The job I hated, I didn't need to keep pretending it was fine. The people-pleasing habits, they were a lie I told myself for years. The need to be liked, it wasn't a reflection of who I am. It was a reflection of who I feared I wasn't. And that's when it clicked. Finding yourself isn't about discovering some hidden version of you tucked away deep inside. It's about stripping away the lies, the assumptions, the things you let other people project onto you. But here's the twist. Once you start rejecting those old narratives, something strange happens. You attract new people, new opportunities, and sometimes even new enemies. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're no longer easy to manipulate. And that's where the real challenge lies. Are you strong enough to stand alone, or will you crumble under the pressure of a world that's trying to keep you asleep? You see, the moment you wake up, you become a threat. To everyone who thrives on your ignorance, to everyone who wants you to stay predictable, controllable, safe. But here's the most profound truth I've learned. Life only begins when you've found yourself. And that's the scariest part of all, because once you truly know yourself, you can never go back. Pour letting the weight of the message sink in. So what about you? Are you still pretending? Or are you ready to wake up? Think about it, because once you see, you can never unsee. If you've made it this far, you're already on the edge. So I'll leave you with this. Don't just exist, live. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe to keep diving into these deep, uncomfortable truths, because the journey to yourself has only just begun.